Hey there, guys. Tyler Pyburn here with Phil DiMartino from Five Tool Productions, and we're talking about five tools of productions today. Mind blown. Exactly. Well, one of the reasons we want to talk about this is, how did the company kind of come to fruition with the name in particular, and really what does the name mean? So it's funny, I was talking with a friend when we first kind of started this going. He's like, Five Tool Productions, are you guys five people? Well, I don't quite understand. So if you're a baseball fan, which we are, a five-tool player is someone that can do it all. Can hit, can run, can throw. Really hit for average, hit for power.
I was going to say, hit a couple different ways.
Little things. But that's just it. A five-tool player or a five-tool kind of draft pick, if you will, is really someone that can do it all. So,
hold on. Who's your favorite five-tool player of all time? I would guess I know who yours is if I had to guess.
Who would you guess?
I would guess your favorite five-tool player of all time is Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. Well, Ken Griffey Jr. was
he's a five. I mean, he's a five-tool player.
There's no question. If fans are about
average power, speed. He's got a throwing arm. He can field. I mean,
exactly.
Alex Rodriguez, like him or not, five-tool player early in his career before he broke down. Willie Mays.
Yep, exactly. Lastings Miliage when he first came up. But the reason why I say that was because I played against him growing up. So he was a guy that, we always look, he's a five-tool prospect. And I kind of looked at him and I said, he's not that much better than me. How is he that?
Well.
Well, he got to the pros and then he got the boot. So.
Well, anywho, so that's five-tool players.
Five-tool player. So really when we kind of were throwing around different names, Nighthawk Productions was one of them.
That was on my
mind.
mind.
We were kind of tossing names out there. We kind of sat down and said, okay, what do we want to be known for? And really, what does this company entail? We kind of came up with, instead of a five-tool player, let's be a five-tool production company. A company that can really do it all. So what we wanted to do, the way we kind of look at things, and you can agree and disagree, and I'm sure there's things you can add on there as well, for what the actual five tools are. So we'll start videography.
Yep.
Right? One of the tools is videography. Can you actually film? Can you go out there and film something? And there's all different types of filming. There are guys that are great with a red that can be more cinematography-like. There are people that are more E&G style. There's all different types of style. But we're kind of looking at it in a little bit more of a broad sense of, can you go out and film something?
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that's kind of the thing that's true across the board for all of these when we think of them is, there are a lot of production companies who are really good at one or two things, and we try to be really good at a broad range of things across a lot of different topics. And I think that's true for videography, and it's really important to not get too, we've talked about gear before, not getting bogged down with what the gear is necessarily. You want good gear and you want to shoot in really high quality, but not getting bogged down with what the gear is, and instead, do you know how to shoot? Do you know how to frame? Do you know how to tell a story through video? So. At its core level, yes, videography. Can you tell a story using video? And I think that's really important.
And one thing to note as we kind of go through all of these is not saying that you and I are five-tool players, right? No, we want to work as a company, as a group, because there are things that you're better at than I am, and vice versa. And people that we work with that can film circles around me, right? And that, I might be a little bit of a better editor than someone that we work, but
I'm not claiming to be the best shooter in the world.
Exactly, and same,
But it's about identifying the right shooter for the right project, too.
Exactly.
And, if someone has a lot of experience shooting sports, you want them to shoot sports. If someone has done a ton of corporate production, they'll know how to shoot corporate and what tools to use to do that. So I think it's about knowing what your project is, having done a lot of varied projects, which I think we have over the years, and knowing what the right tool to pull out of the toolbox is.
The right style for the right audience as well. And that kind of goes into the next tool we'll talk about is editing, because can you take all that great, wonderful footage, or can you take the bad footage and can you still turn it into something?
Yes.
Because editing, can you tell a story through editing, right? I mean, that's a big component of it.
Right, I really agree with you, and I think that one of the things that I pride myself on, and I think we pride ourselves on as a company, is being able to be a little bit scrappy, right? And take a lot of footage, a lot of disparate footage, and turn it into something interesting and valuable. And we have a lot of experience over the years, kind of either a client will give you footage and that they shot and maybe it's not the best and you have to turn into something, or you went out on a shoot and it didn't go exactly as you planned. We've been doing this since we were 18, right? So you have a lot of bad experiences too. And I think that you draw on those and it allows you to come up with some interesting things. So you've had to solve the problems in the past. And I think that's a really important thing. And it's really important to me that we're that type of production company that can make lemonade out of rocks.
You should taste our lemonade too.
And ideally, the first part you're getting really good content in, so you have the experience kind of having made lemonade out of rocks, but also when you do have the good footage, you're really able to take it to the next level and create something great.
Let's talk about one of the other tools, and that's writing. So writing is an interesting one because sometimes I feel like it gets lost in the shuffle.
It definitely
because
does.
You focus so much on just the maybe an interview or just the shots that you're getting and splicing it together. The writing portion of it can be incredibly huge and gets lost along the shuffle. I don't know why it does too, because I think sometimes you rely so much on just, we're going to go and get interviews and that's it. But sometimes you do need to string them together with words. And I go back and I use writing a lot more, I feel like, because I come from the news, right? Where every single day you're writing a
everything's
story
scripting
physically.
and
But here's the piece now, and it's something that we talk about so much, is the written word kind of goes hand in hand with the video so much, not just in the video, but the blog post afterwards as well. The blog post and the social post. How are you conveying? You can't just post something and say, this is going to do really well. What are you writing for your captions underneath? What are you writing for the blog post?
I could not agree with you more, and I was going to go that route too, so I'm glad you did. And I think writing, the really interesting thing about writing now, there's a couple of parts to it. I think when you talk as a video production, you say like writing is one of the things that we do. A lot of people envision just like a voiceover, right? Like the booming voiceover, the movie guy in between shots.
That's all well and good too.
And sure, there's a time and a place for that, but there's also light scripting that goes into planning, storyboarding, that involves writing as well. But then also, as you mentioned, thinking of ourselves as a content marketing company, right? That specializes in video 1st and foremost. Everything that you're doing is going somewhere on the internet or in a printed material, whatever it is, and it all has to be surrounded by really good writing that's going to maximize search engine optimization. It's also going to still not sound like a robot. You're not going to be stuffing keywords, and it's going to grab people. So critically important from a content marketing standpoint.
Exactly. So what's our? We've got two more tools we want to talk about. I want to save the kind of the newest one for last. But what do you think is the next tool? What do you say?
I would say producing is a really important one, and it's something that we both have had a lot of experience with. And it's kind of a broad term. You talk about being a production company; it's right there in the name. What does it mean to you?
So it's funny. I look at producing, coming back from the news environment, as a producer, meaning you're producing the show. And I look at for events in particular. Yes, you can produce a video, you can have someone come back and scope out the different scenes and kind of put it all together. But you can look at it that way, but the events to me is where I look at it. A true show producer, where they're sitting back, okay, the audio is coming on here. Who can pull it all together? And okay, the speakers are going to be coming up here. We have our slides going on here. They're acting as a director, as a producer. The word we use a lot for our company in particular is being nimble. Can a producer be nimble and piece it all together, really?
I agree, and I think there's a technical side of it, and then to add on to that a little bit, I think there's also the element of producing is keeping an eye on all of the things you talked about in planning in terms of what are you trying to say, who are you trying to reach, why are we doing this, what are your end goals, and making sure that if you're doing an interview, the interviewee is getting that across clearly. If you're shooting that all the shots you're getting are the right tone, you're looking at things like color balance, the technical side, sound. You're thinking about like all those elements and how it's going to turn into the final product, and you're kind of managing it and overseeing it and keeping it organized as it goes along.
The producer in my mind is the project manager that has the vision.
Correct.
Right? Yes. The end vision that, like you said, is meeting those bullet points along the way to see it kind of all come together.
Yes.
And that's the way I kind of look at the producer part. Now, the last piece, which to me is what helps us a lot, and I know there are other companies that do it as well, but it's the live streaming piece.
Right.
So can you live stream? Because right now what we're seeing so much with the different platforms being able to stream live, your videos and a lot of your content needs to be streamed live.
Yes.
So I think it's critically important for you as a company that's either getting started, continuing on, or expanding your content marketing journey to invest resources and money into the live streaming portion of it. And as a production company, it's important for us to be able to know how to do that and not say, we'll figure it out. We can walk through the door and say, this is how you need to stream.
Right, yes. And I think that there's a lot of levels to live streaming, and that's what's important too.
this, right?
We got in on the live streaming train pretty early in our lives, you know, before you could necessarily stream from your phone, I think. But I think that the interesting thing about it is there really is there's a lot of different ways you can approach it. You can go all the way from a smartphone all the way up to a fully produced, switched multi-camera with graphics out to multiple different platforms at
That's
once.
usually ENG style,
Yeah.
you know, satellite streaming.
Right, which you can do now with a lot
scale
less.
up.
But
Exactly.
so I think that the important thing to think about is you can go live in a variety of different ways, and it's a matter of, again, as always, knowing what the appropriate way is to reach your audience and maximize your budget. But you know, it's so important to have it in some form or another. And if you're a big brand, it's not necessarily going to work for you to just do a Facebook Live from your phone.
Exactly.
You need a little bit more. You need a little bit more polished. And I think that's what we strive
and
to
can
get.
you know, be a little bit more polished is exactly it. So there you have it. The 5 tools: videography, editing, writing, producing, and live streaming. Those are your 5.
Mike Trout,
You
5-tool
would not
player.
be a very good catcher right
No.
there, that's why I'm a 2.
Mike Trout, 5-tool player.
5-tool player. He's our modern day 5-tool player. Him and Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts, Andrew McCutcheon, 5-tool player.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, all right, there's a couple of them out there. We're 5-tool guys too. Not baseball anymore though. I was never a 5.
Wrap it up.
All right. Peace, Phil. I'm Tyler. I'll see you guys next time.